7 minutes after the hour of 8 a.m. Mountain Time, it's Christmas Eve day, Saturday, December 24th, 2022. Tom Egelhoff, your morning mayor in the house. Shane Taubman, half man, half amazing, is in Kamloops, Canada, and I think I can hear him, but I can't see him. So.
Well, I can see you.
Well, that's all that counts. As long as you can see me, that's all that counts.
Brown t-shirt, no cap.
Yeah, I forgot my cap today. I don't know.
All the surprise.
All the cold weather and everything that's going on. I went out of the house and I couldn't get in the studio this morning because they chained the back door, Shane. So,
I think they'd be more worried about the door being frozen shut.
Well, I think that's probably what happened, and they chained it.
You know, I don't understand any of this. I'm totally confused. I mean, it's a wonderful time of the year.
Yeah.
Thank you, everyone. You're a blessing in disguise for Tom and me, and the opportunity for us to have this show. And so I want to thank everyone before I forget, because if I forget to do it later, I want to do it now.
Of course.
But more importantly, this whole thing about the good earth and or decimating it and global change and then I look out the door for the last month and it's been like 20 below and I'm going, where do these people come from? I mean, seriously, how can they even possibly not be embarrassed or find it shameful to get up and make all these speeches and make all these statements and spend all this money? I mean, that a theory is, with a theory, it's not science, it's just a theory that's clearly going wrong. I mean, like everything else that they're doing.
Well, the whole country's, going wrong, Shane. We wouldn't be here if it wasn't. I mean, if everything was great, there wouldn't be any need for us to be here.
That's right. If it wasn't for the Arctic bomb that's gone off across the continent, people would be going, "Oh, this is such a nice, warm Christmas."
Yeah, what a wonderful place, huh?
Yeah, it's great.
Oh well, what a day, huh?
Only one day of the year, buddy.
That's it. Well, we're happy to be here with you on Christmas Eve. And the good news is we're looking for a high of 40 degrees today, not 40 below, but 40 above. And 40 for the next 3 days. So
really?
That's what we're looking at.
It's going to get warm?
It's going to get warm. It's 27 driving in this morning, Shane, above zero. So hopefully, it'll warm up and some of the streets will clear up a little bit. Some of the slick parking lots will be safe to walk on again, and who knows? Should be.
Yeah, it's like hockey. You're in the warm zone now.
No kidding, yeah.
You're out of the ice box.
Yeah. Well, we want to welcome you this morning. Tom and Shane making radio great again. Mental floss for your brain. Tom and Shane living like it's still a free country, Shane, and oh boy, I'll tell you. I guess one of the big things that happened over the past week is that we've got the Trump House or the Trump tax returns. So what do you think?
Well,
much ado about nothing.
Yeah, of course it is, and it's always the same thing. They always identify with his word. Yeah. I mean, they don't talk about it being his corporate, or it's so you don't know if they're talking about his personal or his corporate. Yeah. It's always the same thing, It's just like Russia. So I think he's sitting wherever he is, going, "Gee, thank you. You couldn't. Mm-hmm. I can't buy this kind of attention," and he couldn't. Yeah. And so, this stuff, all this stuff they keep talking about just makes him look like a victim for free and gets people talking about him for free and has his name out front there, for free. And he's going to pay for lawyers and accountants anyway. So you might as well make them work.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the thing. So. Well, despite pulling in nearly $11 million in interest from investments and his $400,000 salary, which he gives away, by the way, he donates that to one of the agencies in the government. He didn't pay any personal income taxes because he also reported $16 million in loss from real estate businesses, and that put the former president $5 million in the red in 2020. So, as you say, there's a big difference between personal wealth and, book wealth,
And corporate
paper
wealth,
wealth. Yeah.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, you look at Elon Musk, and it's the same thing.
Yeah.
You don't. If you look at anybody that has any wealth, it's the same thing.
Hmm.
Having corporations is a way of not just only shielding your wealth, but obviously creating more income, and providing the opportunity to maintain that wealth through
Hmm.
investment and government regulations that allow you to write it off. And
Hmm.
owning property yourself, you don't get the same write-offs as you do in a company. And
Yeah.
that's just the law. It's not. This isn't something Trump trumped up.
Yeah.
This is something government trumped up.
Well, that's for sure. I don't know, boy. This is the thing about Trump is that people don't seem to understand that Trump is Trump's a businessman. I mean, he is. I'm sorry.
Well, that's right. Bottom line, all line. I mean, from the day he was swaddled till the day he left to, school
Hmm.
and on to a military high school, right?
Yeah.
For
Hmm.
proper education, because he wasn't going to go into the military, but he needed that training and
Hmm.
discipline.
Sure.
And then on to business school, and
Hmm.
at the end of the day, he went through a cycle that most people do, either in the middle or upper class. You sort of follow mom and dad, right?
Yeah. Hmm.
I mean, you see this in public service, generation after generation of policemen, firemen, medical people. This is nothing new, and it's a path of the American dream. So you're always better working in an area that you have history and family
Hmm.
than somewhere else. It's not that you have an advantage. It's just that you know the process. You know the protocol and rules.
Well, what I was pointing out is the big difference is that this is the first actual business guy we've ever had in the Oval Office, and every other politician has no problem showing their tax returns because all their income is from either government, book sales, or speaking fees, and that's about it. They might have some investments, but I mean, that's where their money comes from, and there's no surprise, and they have no problem releasing their returns because they've never done anything. They've never had
And
a real job or done anything of any importance in life other than suck off the public trough.
that's all public knowledge anyway. But
Yeah.
unless you're the Clintons and you decide, well, we're going to go we're going to go create a Chinese wall and
Yeah.
you know call it the Clinton Trust or the Clinton
Yeah.
Fund, or
Hmm.
they have people think that it's just one sort of
Yeah.
nomer that they have it hidden
Hmm.
under.
Yeah.
It's about a half a dozen different things,
That's for sure.
just to protect the knowledge.
All right, let's take a call. 406-522-TALK is the number, 406-522-8255. Caller, thanks for waiting. You're on with Tom and Shane.
Hey, good morning, guys, and Merry Christmas to all, and God bless. And I'm telling you, it's a ho, 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 ho here in Roundup, Montana. I'm telling you that it's so cold here that Santa Claus's reindeers, their little noses are all turned red.
All
But
right.
I have a little request today. Tom, I have a very short, maybe a 15-second video. It's a YouTube video, and there's no copyright worries because this video is played everywhere on social media, and it's a Christmassy thing. It's a version of Jingle Bells, and I'd like to know if I could play that today for you and Shane and your listeners.
Sure, why not? We can always bleep it out if it's bad.
Okay. Oh, no, I wouldn't do that.
I know you wouldn't.
Okay, once again, Merry Christmas and ride into the light. God bless. Here we go. Wet your whistles and let's sing Jingle Bells together.
That's the reindeer version.
Yeah. All right.
All right. Have a good one, guys. I love you.
All right. Thanks so much, Nancy. Appreciate it. Thanks for the
Bye-bye.
call. All right. Take care. Merry Christmas to you. All right. Yeah, that was fun, huh, Shane?
Were they singing that in the barn before or after
No.
they had dinner?
Yeah. Oh, let's see. Shane, we got a texter, 406-478-8298. Shane, what is a nomer? He wants to know.
A reference or a continued reference? A continuance of a reference.
Okay. See? He's more than just a pretty face, folks. All right. Well, we're talking about Trump's taxes. And the other thing that we need to talk about, Shane, and thanks to one of our listeners for sending this in to us for the wasteful in the in this bill they passed, the Omnibus bill, Shane, that has a whopping $482 million worth of federal waste. And the news networks have been falling all over themselves trying to put this stuff out here. The ridiculous amount of money that we're spending.
Well, look, I think that we've come to terms with understanding that the reference for this is very simple. It's just the pile on so much that you can bury more.
Yeah.
And it's always what you want to hide from the public, not what you want to provide for the public. And it's just become a verbal garbage and a donkey show. I mean, it's it's been going on now for 40, 50 years.
Yeah.
And it's a sad reality for a remarkable republic. I mean, with all the public works that you have in play to build and create such a nation from one corner to the other has just been remarkable. And for you to have this infrastructure system to collect the taxes, I mean, that's what makes all this possible. I mean,
it is.
None of this would be possible if the federal government didn't have the means to collect money from the 330 million people in your country that they do, or 220 million, whatever you want to call it. But it's a very sad reality. But that's where that's what, as we say, that's where their headspace is.
Amen to that. Let's take the call. 406-522-TALK is the number. 406-522-8255. Caller, you are on with the award-winning Tom and Shane. What's up?
Thank you for taking my call. Merry Christmas, Tom. Happy Boxing Day, Shane.
Thank you.
You betcha. You betcha. Remember, gentlemen, and I hate to be a bearer of bad tidings. It's such a joyful season, but it's a bill, this omnibus bill. Now, anytime I get a bill, I got to pay something.
Yeah, you'd think so.
So this is a bill that's going to have to get paid, and it's there's a lot of pork in it. You know what I mean? But there's no beans. A lot of pork, but no beans. So, and I just want to thank Nancy and Roundup for that wonderful Christmas greeting.
Absolutely.
I hope. Oh yeah, that was a pleasure, and I'm very saddened by the fact that and the Bobcats traveled all that way, and unfortunately they lost that game.
Yeah.
And they had a great season though, and I'm sure they'll be back next year.
Mm-hmm. And
I was amazed at the statement that the president made in Ecuador, and I don't know if you heard this, but. And there was a small soundbite of him, and said that we are making great strides in immigration. And I'm saying to myself, excuse me, sir, but the great strides in immigration are the people coming across the border, striding across our border in great strides. So I don't know what he was talking about. Very confused. And And one question to both of you, and I'll get off and let the other folks call in. Have you ever heard of the PrEP Act?
The Press Act.
No, PrEP. P-R-E-P.
Oh, no.
PrEP Act.
No.
Huh. I didn't either until somebody brought it up. And what it is, it's an act that allows for declaring an emergency for just about anything, medical emergency or whatever, maybe a natural disaster of sorts. But it generates money to those who help stem the emergency and also to those who benefit from prolonging the emergency, such as the COVID, emergency, which is not an emergency anymore. Yet there's constant ads on the radio to get an updated COVID vaccine. So I'm again, gentlemen, I am so confused. That's why I come to you.
We're confused too, I got to tell you, Jerry.
And gentlemen, help me out here. Could a number of Republicans staved off that omnibus bill by voting against it?
Of course.
Doesn't it take a two-thirds?
Yeah, of course they could.
Two-thirds majority.
Yeah.
It takes a two-thirds majority. Right?
AOC voted against it.
Who did?
AOC voted against it.
I'll be darned.
Didn't have enough stuff in it for her.
Yeah, that's right.
Oh, okay. Oh, all right.
Yeah, it didn't have Amazon coming back for free to her district.
And you know what got me too? They just got this FTX dude, this fellow who made all this money, and they brought him out of the Bahamas and they put him up in front of the court, and then they let him go on I think it's a $250 million.
Mm-hmm.
And he's in Northern California at his parents' house. Now I'm saying to myself, what'd you do with all that money that you got to go running back to mom and dad? Couldn't understand that one either.
Yeah.
But that's what happens to folks. They go broke and then they go running back home. So.
Well, the problem with the guy was, he's so fat that they couldn't put an ankle bracelet on him, so they put it around his wrist.
Yeah.
Now, Shane. Now, come on now. You got to be nice.
I got to shame this guy. What he did is remarkable. He's a qualified shamer.
Yeah.
Well, from what I gather, it makes Bernie Madoff look like a Boy Scout from what he did. So,
yeah.
I don't know. I don't know what the outcome of his, trial or charges will be, but I'm sure they're going to, make sure that he doesn't do it again. Hopefully, and it just affected the whole cryptocurrency accounts, didn't it? I mean, people lost a ton of money.
Oh yeah.
Well, not only that, but it came at a time where the market is in a crash, basically, and it's just going to worsen it. So, look out! Here comes 2023 is. It's going to be a dark year next year.
Well, the way
money-wise, everything else will be pretty cool, I think.
Well, I still believe that the currency, our dollar is being propped up in some form, some way or another. I don't believe the value of the dollar is what it is. Of course, it's not buying what it normally did on the grocery shelves. I know gas prices have come down, but it's still. Everything else is just costing a whole lot more, including feeding your family or whatever, just the basics.
Yeah.
But
that supply chain situation is still going on. It's not as serious as it once was, but it's still going on. The price of diesel's way high still, compared to what it could have been. And Christmas complicates this even more because you got more and more things traveling, and then you got this big storm that's nationwide. That's slowing everything down. So,
but everybody's
it's tough.
Oh, yeah. Everybody's stuck in an airport. I don't know what they're going to do about that. Yeah. They're going to have to get them out of there sooner or later. Have to feed them and the whole bit.
Yeah.
And just
they need to fly them somewhere else.
Oh, gee. Oh, where, Tom?
The Bahamas. The Bahamas.
Yeah.
I hear there's a cheap place down there they can stay.
I don't think so, but maybe there is. I'll just leave one more statement here. Everybody have a very Merry Christmas, and all you folks that are going to call in or text Tom, be nice.
Yeah.
And be nice to Tom and Shane at least this one day out of the year. Okay?
That's right.
Thanks for taking my call, guys.
All right, Jerry. Thanks so much. Merry Christmas to you. All right. Well, sounds good, Shane.
What does?
Being nice to us on Christmas.
That will.
Yeah.
Well, people should be nice to us all the time.
Well, they should, but come on,
that would be that falls into that scenario of elder abuse.
We're an easy, we're an easy, we're an easy target, I should say, huh?
Of course we're, because Biden. If Biden can be, knocked on, and I guess we qualify too, right?
All right, let's see. Shane is a Debbie Downer. Let's hope 2023 is like his predictions. Wrong.
Well, my predictions have not been wrong, so there you go.
That's it, yeah. Let's see, from our text line, 4788298. When was the last bill without tons of pork? Yeah, that's for sure. 4,000 pages? You got to have pork in there somewhere.
Yeah, that's right. And by the way, just because of what Larry asked, the Public Readiness and Emergency Preparedness Act came around in 2005 under George W. Bush, and it basically had to deal with for the pharmaceutical industry and preparation. Goodbye. We have to have a break, folks. I'll tell you about it later.
You can finish your thought. Just beware. We got a minute outgoing, so
less than.
Take your time.
Real quick. So under this act, basically what it did was to protect pharmaceuticals from being sued in the event that the United States would require some kind of special situation. And of course, the 2005, and what do you have? 15 years later,
you're done. All right. All right, we'll be right back. Here's some Christmas music for you. The police got your dad. The police got your dad. 27 minutes for the top of the hour. It is Saturday. It's December 24th, Christmas Eve, 2022. What a day. Boy, we got through some unmercifully low temperatures, and for the next 3 days, we're going to be in the 40s, Shane, so pretty nice.
Well, you want to have nice weather for New Year's.
Well, that's true, yeah. So
people do go out a lot more on New Year's. Most people stay at home and already gathered before the storm for Christmas.
Yeah.
But, New Year's is this sort of a different thing. Everyone's sort of out and about for the evening.
Yeah, there you go. And we'll be here live New Year's Eve as well as today. So,
oh my gosh.
Happy to be here for you.
Lots of football for the next week. College.
That's true. Yeah. Yeah. Christmas, got Christmas ball games all day. And since Christmas is on a Sunday, that's no change for the teams. So pretty cool.
That's right.
Yeah. Basketball and football will all be on. College, pros, and all sports, I guess, will be rocking and rolling.
Gotta have our sports, baby. We need that entertainment.
All right, from our text line, 4788298, there are ads to get COVID vaccine and flu. Duh, vaccines save lives. Well, the latest on the COVID vaccine seems to dispute that. It seems like more people that are vaccinated are having problems than the unvaccinated are. So, I don't know.
This is one of these things that makes little sense to anybody. We're now told, and have been for better part of a year almost, that they don't work. I mean, they don't work.
Yeah.
I mean, they don't. How do I repeat this so many times to say it that it gets through to people?
Yeah.
Why would you take a vaccine, which of course this really isn't a vaccine? It's sort of like an antidote, because it's non-science and it's new science, and it's not made from the virus. So this is new science being tested on a massive scale, continuing to be tested on a massive scale to see how well it works for the scientists pursuing this type of medical theory, and it's a genetic theory of vaccines, and that makes it scary because it's not, it's such a large scale, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I reference it to laser surgery on your eye. I remember the Russians created it back in the 70s, and it became somewhat popular in the West in the 80s and 90s. But I waited 20 years. I waited a generation to see if, there were any real bad side effects from it. And, I basically was legally blind. I was so nearsighted. So finally in 2004, I went in and got laser surgery done on my eyes. And wow, it was one of the best days of my life, because since I was 5, I've had to wear glasses, or contacts with allergies or whatever.
Yeah. So
there you go.
All right. Sounds good to me.
Does me too.
We learned Trump lied. He was not under audit. He is now. And
that's not true.
Yeah, I know. Trump paid 0 taxes. Taxes for us little people. I'm going to deduct my golfing. Well, in the first place, Trump did pay taxes. He paid his estimated taxes, $3 million in 2020, $10.6 million rollover for 19, and in 2019 it was $700,000 plus a $9.8 million rollover from the previous year. So he is paying taxes, but don't tell me he's not paying any taxes, because
there is an unwritten protocol in the IRS in the United States, whether it's a company or an individual. If you have a loss that you can carry forward, a legal loss,
sure.
That's what it's called.
Yeah.
So in 1 year you have such a large loss, they allow you to use it in the future to write off expenses and reduce your tax costs.
Sure.
So, but under that protocol, they do an audit to make sure you're doing it properly.
Mm-hmm.
So he's going to always be in an audit.
Well, yeah, I was going to say, I don't see how I can't. Yeah.
Yeah, all corporations are. They have,
well, sure. Well, and when you talk about losses, think of your own personal home. When you maintenance on your home, just like maintenance on any property you own, is deductible against your profit from the property.
Well, here's an example. Everybody will know that buys online. Anyone that deals with Amazon, if you buy a product from Amazon, comes to your house, you open it up, and A, it's the wrong product, or B, it's not what you wanted, and you get on the phone to Amazon and you say, I want to return this, and they'll say, oh no, just keep it. We'll credit your account. Did you want us to send what you really want, or what? And you say, oh, okay, but what do I do with it? Well, you can just throw it away if it's not what you want. And the reason they do that is they get to write it off.
Yeah.
So every one of you out there that deals with Amazon that's had this situation, or now should, call them up and say, I don't want this, or it's the wrong thing, and they'll tell you, oh, keep it, throw it away if you don't want it, and they write it off. So that's why Amazon doesn't pay any taxes either, because they have this massive write-off from non-return products that they basically tell people,
don't send them back to us. We're not going to.
Yeah, because the cost to return it, cost to they can't use it themselves. Like they can't sell
and they got to send it back to whoever sent it to them, so they're not going to do that. Yeah, that happened to me, Shane. We mounted our big screen TV over the fireplace. And normally that's not the place you want to put a big screen TV because of the heat of the fireplace. So we bought a fake fire to go under the, to go in the fireplace. And it's very good. It's very realistic. So, but anyway, we ordered this thing. It was $139, I think. It's got all kinds of different settings and, crackles like a fire and whatever. But it was broken when we got it. So we called them and they said the same thing to us, throw it away. And they sent us a new one, and that was fine. And a few days later, we got another one. So I got 2 of them sitting there. So
regift.
That's where the loss is, So
yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Well, speaking of the ignorance, Shane, I want to talk about a little bit about some of these things that's in this omnibus bill. We've got $200,000, 200,000, Shane, for espresso machines from Starbucks in the Department of Defense. You got to have that coffee, Shane. Can't operate without it. So.
Well, yeah, they don't want to take the time. They're military. They don't want to take the time to measure out the coffee. They just want to put those little cups in and pop them in and away they go. Let's have some coffee.
Yeah,
it's one of these realities that you're coming to terms with, and understanding of just how literally hostile the basic opinion of people working for the government have, which is just it's a hostile opinion of the American people, because that's what they're stealing from the American people. So, they're just as bad as the Wild Wild West and all the guys running around robbing trains and banks and homes and someone out for a ride. It's a very harsh reality, but that's where we're at.
Yeah. Well, they spent a bunch of money getting hamsters to fight each other.
Yeah, that's right.
That was a good one. And giving cocaine to beagles. That was another good one that where our tax dollars are going toward. And $118,000 discovered that it was unlikely that Thanos, the cartoon character from the Avengers or 4 or whatever, wherever he was anyway, could snap his finger wearing the Infinity Glove and make half of all life disappear. So I don't know, man. The waste goes on and on and on here. It's ridiculous. We got salmon stuff in there as well, and boy, I don't know, man. It's
meanwhile, the military itself is degrading and downgrading, the principal trainee of their armies, the sergeant.
Yeah.
And the sergeant's critical. I mean, the sergeant's the guy that really creates officers in the military, especially lieutenants coming out of one of your schools, like in the Navy or the Air Force or the Marines or Army. And when you have this internal collapse of management and moral ineptitude within the ranks of the military, we've seen it in the past historically for hundreds of years, right? So
are you talking about no more sir or ma'am in the military?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Well, I don't know of any sergeant that wants to be a lieutenant.
No, I said trains them.
Well, they don't want to be a lieutenant, trained or not.
No, they train the lieutenants to be better officers.
Oh, well, they do that. Yeah, they have OCS, officer candidate.
Yeah, they've gone through school, in the Army and at West Point, and they come to boot camp, and it's a sergeant major that makes them officers. It's not, it's being a boot on the ground that makes you a warrior, not not some school.
Yeah. Well, I know you don't call sergeants sir. They work for a living. So that's the common refrain, that it's yes, sergeant, or no, sergeant, and then a lieutenant or above is no, sir, yes, sir. So
there you go.
So that's how it's done. But you got to. I mean, this is boggling to me. $482 billion worth of waste in this bill, Shane. I mean, that's almost half of it, and $482 billion would pay the minimum on the debt, and we're wasting it.
Oh well,
to buy votes, I guess.
We broke down on the podcast last week your national debt and how to pay it. Oddly enough, I left out one principal factor, and that's the Federal Reserve payment from the interest it draws on the U.S. debt it holds and the mortgage-backed securities it's bought from your banks. So, Powell is sitting on about $1.4 trillion in cash. That under the law, the Fed should return to the Treasury and reduce your debt. Now,
Sure.
you heard Biden talking about this for a year, saying, "Oh, I'm going to reduce the debt by $1.4 trillion by September. It's me. I'm going to do it." No, it's not him. It's the Federal Reserve. But all these things come to play only because people like you and me have a conversation about them, and no one else does.
Yeah. Yep. Well, I don't know. This is dumb, man. It's time to move past Trump. It's time to support DeSantis, a man who doesn't have all the baggage if we want to win again. So, let's see. 2023 might be the year that Trump actually sees bars, metal bars. Well, I don't think Trump's going anywhere, quite honestly. You can't put somebody in jail for hearsay. So.
Well, and you can't put someone in jail for tax charges like these that they're bringing with him, principally because of his liability is so narrow because of the agreements he has with accountants and lawyers, and we're talking tax lawyers. I mean, that's their specialty. So that ain't gonna happen. This isn't some actor in Hollywood who has his financial advisor steal from him and then he goes to jail because of it, right? Like,
yeah. Other things in the omnibus bill: $750,000 for fire alarm modernization of the Metropolitan Opera, $3 million for a LGBTQ museum in New York, and more than $3.6 million for a Michelle Obama trail, which is not even in the United States, Shane, and authorize the creation of a Ukraine Independence Park. Also, $200 million to the Gender Equality, Equity, and Equality Action Fund, and $7.5 million for the study of domestic radicalization. Forget it. Whatever that is. I can't say it. It's too early in the morning for my tongue to do that. So
it would be interesting, and probably even more of that, it would be fascinating to see an omnibus act or just a continued resolution without all of this waste. Because we keep hearing from both sides of the border with our governments, that we have the same problem.
Yeah.
Massive fraud with COVID relief, in our country and yours as well.
Yeah.
Hundreds of billions or hundreds of millions by state or federal of people that, have defrauded the government. But there's never any follow-up. There's never any story afterwards about Bill Smith was taken in today and arrested by the IRS and the FBI.
Yeah, I know. The report reveals Trump on his federal tax return declared negative income in 2015, 16, 17, and 2020, and he's paid a total of $1,500 in income taxes for the years 2016 and 2017, and proves what? I don't pay taxes and haven't for a long time because I have a good CPA. So,
and you have the ability to follow the guidelines and laws and rules and regulations.
Okay.
I mean, that's all
if you're pissed about the taxes, then go down to the Democrat headquarters and talk to them about it, because they controlled the Senate for 40 years while all these tax bills were being instituted and passed, and they are not going to get rid of them because, like Trump, they benefit from these same tax loopholes and whatever. So bitch to them if you want to bitch to somebody.
Well, precisely, and this is the reality that everybody comes to when they, as you say, confront it, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's what this is, and so it's not a surprise.
Yeah.
It's just one of these things that they keep bringing up, like racism and
right,
and there needs to be more sharing and fairness and all the things that they talk about, or mention. They never talk about them, but they mention them a lot.
Well, that's what they say.
That's what they say.
At least we won't have to spend a lot of money on the Trump Presidential Library. It won't have any books. Well, it'll have 14,000 copies of Art of the Deal in there. So taxes.
Well, yeah. No, nobody builds new libraries for books anymore, Thomas.
No, they don't.
So,
Taxes,
it's all automated in AI.
Yeah, taxes are for little people. Well, I don't know if anybody, quite honestly, anybody who's listening to me right now that is working for someone, if you get a paycheck and it's got the deductions on your little paycheck stub, you didn't pay that. Your employer paid that. Your employer took that out of his money coming into his business and paid that for you. And then at the end of the year, they give you a slip of what he paid for you. So please, if you're out there thinking you pay taxes, you don't.
Well, Tom just nailed, this to literally the tax cross.
Yeah.
This is what allows your republic to exist. There are no tax collectors.
Mm-hmm.
There's tax auditors. Yeah. But the public companies, private companies, and the individual report and pay taxes to the government. And 2/3 of taxes drawn down by the government come from private companies and public companies that pay them directly. And then they hold your money for a year and very often have to provide you a refund. They don't pay an interest on the money of yours that is held by them. Basically, illegally, talk about a Ponzi scheme. They collect taxes from everyone a year in advance. You're paying your taxes a year in advance. And they get to use your money tax-free. So, all the way around, this is a mess. It should be changed. I mean, tomorrow. Oh, no, January 3rd when the new Congress comes in, which is my birthday, by the way.
There you go. Tom is acting proud he doesn't pay taxes. You're a true American, Tom. Doesn't have anything to do with being proud or not proud. It's a matter of following the tax laws.
That's right.
I mean, what am I supposed to do? Just say, okay, I made this much. So what, 15, 20% of it I'll just send in? I don't think so.
Right. This isn't 1,000 years ago when, kings and emperors sent out tax people.
Yeah.
And took whatever they wanted. The tax is 15%, but I want all your pigs. Like that.
Yeah. Speaking of nobody getting charged for crimes, have you ever heard a blip about someone sentenced for identity theft of home title theft? Freaking ads are everywhere. So, yeah, I haven't heard of that, Shane. I haven't heard of anybody losing their home because of somebody filed a thing.
It's to me, it's just a ridiculous ad. They have this guy on there, and in the ad he says, if they have this one document, we can't deny changing the record. No, you can't, because it's against the law. No, but you can call the police and say, John Henry Albert Smith, who I know personally because he lives 2 doors down from me. There's a guy here claiming his home belongs to him. And so you better come and take a look at this because it's not right.
Yeah.
The bottom line here, people who work for the government in situations like this, there's a number. It's called 911. Yeah. Come on.
Yeah. Give them a call.
Yeah. Don't beef the government like this just to make, a monthly fee from people to do nothing. I mean, that's basically what it is.
That's for sure. Yeah. You lie. Trump paid 0 taxes, none at all. All right. Brilliant businessman had years of losses. Well, you have to understand business to understand losses and how they work. Amazon lost revenue for 10 years before they started making any money.
And now they're still losing it.
Yeah. We now know why Trump is hiding his taxes, because he's not rich and he doesn't pay taxes, and he doesn't pay any taxes, not even estimated taxes. So, okay, so what? So he's not as rich as I don't remember him even talking about how much he had, but maybe he did.
Well, that's just coming from some disgruntled person that, because Trump makes it he's so wealthy.
Yeah.
He's not rich. He's wealthy.
He's wealthy.
Big difference. There's big difference. Okay.
Yeah.
Rich is inheritance.
Yeah.
It's those trust babies. They're the ones that are rich because and they're all liberals, like the one sending that text.
Yeah.
All right. So, you get to live off your parents, grandparents, whatever generation before you. But, you're just rich.
Yeah.
He's wealthy.
Employers collect taxes. We pay them. No, you don't. Set 20 deductions, and they won't collect many, but you still owe. Well, there again, a misunderstanding of the tax laws. So, Fart humor, so Christian. When do we do fart humor, Shane? I don't remember.
Oh, today on the Jingle Bells.
Oh, okay. Okay. I guess I missed that one.
It sounded like the reindeer.
Okay. Well, I thought they were just going ho ho ho, but anyway, that's how dumb I am.
That's what I said. Was that before or after their meal?
Okay. If you think the Republicans did not add pork to the bill, I have a bridge to sell you, and there's no problem there. I will happily take that bridge because Republicans do exactly the same thing.
That's right, so, and there are probably several bridges in that bill.
I'm sure there are. You can't have too many bridges. Yeah.
Never. No,
all right. Hey, it's
you got to maintain everything.
Yeah, right. Hey, it's a beautiful day in the neighborhood. We're happy to have you along with us. Thanks for being with us here on Christmas Eve. It's going to be warm for Christmas, believe it or not, so you can maybe get around to friends' homes, relatives, whatever. Maybe the planes will start flying again. Who knows? I guess we'll find out. So we've still got 2 full hours to go. So guess what? We'll be back, like it or not, right after the important news we got coming up. We've also got to talk about Zelensky's talk and the January 6th panel. So we'll be talking about that when we come back. 7 minutes after the hour of 9 a.m. It's Saturday. It's Christmas Eve, December 24th, 2022. Happy to be here with you. Tom Egelhoff, your morning mayor. Shane Taubin, half man, half amazing in Kamloops, Canada. And it's going to be warm today. We're going to have a high around 40 and a high of 46 on Sunday and Monday, Christmas Day and the day after. So pretty good forecast on the way, Shane. So let's take a phone call. 406. No call. I just said that.
I know. There's no call. They hung up.
Oh, they did? Okay. All right. Well, they're trying again. So okay. I'll wait till they flip around to where I can answer it, and then we'll get them on the air. So, all right. Go ahead. You want to say something or what?
Oh, I'm sorry. I the leader of the band. Oh, hey, listen, there's so many things to talk about. Yeah. When I looked at your list today, it was like, oh my gosh, what topic is even more important than the other, right?
I know. Yeah.
It's I guess the thing that I'd just like to hear what you think is about Putin being stuck in a nightmare scenario. Which one is it?
Yeah.
Political, economic, war, global. I mean, which scenario is a nightmare? They're all, aren't they all?
Well, you're kind of getting ahead of me, but that's okay, I guess.
You just said, what? Go ahead and make a comment. Sorry.
Well, we kind of take them in line. That's why I set them up that way. You know.
I know, but we already did, didn't we?
No, we didn't. Okay.
Oh, go ahead.
All right. Well, Putin. He thought he was going to have a quick victory, and unfortunately, more than 300 days and 100,000 estimated troop losses. Russia has lost its image as a superior military power. That's one of the things that he's looking bad around the world to the rest of the leaders, of course, and he may try to take Kiev again in 2023, but. His initial bid to claim the capital at the start of the war didn't succeed, and it's not likely to end in success. But Putin's playing the long game, having failed to deliver a decisive knockout punch in the war's opening phase. He's betting that a prolonged conflict will play to Russia's advantage. This is not an unreasonable assumption, since a long war will require sustained and escalating military Western aid, and political support for such assistance, and that's waning in Europe. So that's what we're looking at.
Oh, that's pretty horrific.
Yeah, what do you think?
I think that, quite honestly, people like Putin make use of something like this to empty his prisons of people that, opposition people in this country.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not a big country, 125 million people in Russia.
Yeah.
And, it's not even a real consumer-based economy. It's like, Canada. It's a resource-based economy. But right now, I think, this is a strange new world because it's like people have, they have no memory. We know this. We've seen it, for 20, 30, 40 years. But I mean, he attacked this country 10 years ago. I mean, in 2012, when Obama and Biden were in.
Yeah.
This isn't a 1-year-old war. It's, it's going into its 12th year.
Well, it's the first year with boots on the ground, Russian boots on the ground, and forces going across the border.
Tom, he took the Crimea 12 years ago. Come on, what are you talking with boots on the ground? Come on.
Well, yeah, he took Georgia too, but that's not the Ukraine.
Whatever.
All right, let's take a call. 522 Talk is the number. 406-522-8255. Call your own with Tom and Shane. What's up?
This is Clint. How are you folks?
Good morning, good sir. Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
And Merry Christmas to you, Shane, and you too, Tom.
Thank you, sir.
It's a wonderful time of the year for giving and thinking about yourself and thinking about where everybody came from and the thankfulness that everybody should have. Now, having said that, I want to say about 2 or 3 other things, and I'll get off the air. First of all, the first thing I really feel bad for the folks that are in the camp trailers and tents and motorhomes and stuff in Bozeman. I really feel bad for those folks, and I wish there was something we could do. But the county and the city, I hope they're trying to do everything they can. The next thing I want to say is, why did we leave England to start with to come to America? It was over taxes and religion.
Yep, that's true.
And the next thing that happened to us, the 16th Amendment that Roosevelt signed was the biggest tax scheme in the world. And I'm going to tell you why. I'm going to give everybody out there in the audience a question. And it's a big question. You got a pencil, Tom, anywhere around?
I do, yeah. Of course I do.
Okay. Take that pencil, and has it got an eraser on it?
No, because I don't make any mistakes.
Oh, okay. Well, if it's got an eraser on it, it's made of wood, and it's made of carbon or lead.
Yeah.
Every one of them 3 things I named has been taxed. I want to know how many times. I know, but I want to know how many times that one pencil has been taxed, and what for.
Oh, at least five or 6 times, at least.
At least that.
Yeah.
So everything that you buy at the store, the country store, besides the inflation, the tax is still going to continue. Now, what we need in this world is more people coming together and less wars and helping people of the world and trying to straighten the world out to where that everybody can live in peace and have a nice Christmas and New Year's and everybody in the world, so that everything could be, as my mother used to say, copacetic. I think that what's happening today, we have militaries of all kinds. Other countries have it, and why do the big people like Putin and Xi and them guys? Why do they want to kill everybody all the time? Why do we have to train soldiers all the time to kill everybody else? I've been there. I've had to do that, and so have you, Tom.
Yep.
But why? Is it all about money and power, ain't it?
Well, every square inch of this planet has been taken from somebody else by force and held it by force.
That's right.
Maybe Antarctica, might be the exception. I don't know.
What does that say about humanity?
Well, the survival of the fittest, Clint. It's always been that way.
I know that.
Whether it's money, guns, treasure, that's how we hold our own. You know, we defend our own property. With money, we pay our taxes on our property so we can keep it.
Well, when Woodrow Wilson formed the League of Nations, which turned into the United Nations, the reason that he did all of that, he was going to try to have the countries all come together and have peace in the world, where everybody wasn't wanting to have what the neighbors got or kill each other because they didn't like their looks.
Mm-hmm.
That's what Wilson did.
Yeah.
And look what's happened today. Just think about all this, and that's really all I got to say. But this is Christmas Eve. I want to say to everybody in this valley, I've been here 88 years, Merry Christmas, and I hope you have a Happy New Year to all of you guys.
Amen to that. All right. Thanks, Clint. Thanks for the call.
Cool.
All right. Merry Christmas to you and Judy as well. Thanks for being with us all these 88 years. Clint and I have been on the air 88 years together, I think.
Yes, I think the two of you were born on air.
We were. Yep, that's it. So. Well, guess what, Shane? The House Select Committee on January 6th delivered its final big public moment on Monday with meeting outlining its conclusions and recapping some of its most important revelations, and it's going to send at least four crimes, rather, to the Department of Justice against President Donald J. Trump.
Which the irony, of course, is they can't do that. That's not their role. I mean, they can send information that they've amassed and say to the Justice Department and your Attorney General, we think there is enough evidence here for you to charge him. They can't ask for him to be charged. They can't say he's guilty of something. The only way they can find someone guilty in the House or the Senate is by impeachment. And that's not what they're doing. So, of course, once again, they're changing the protocol and the guidelines and rules to create a story in the press and again, trying to discredit Trump. And it's sad because I don't think these people are that stupid. They know exactly what they're doing.
Yeah. From our app chat line, AM 1450 KMMS on your smartphone, and be sure to get that app. Get it wherever apps are sold. Just do a search for AM 1450 KMMS on your phone, and you'll get the app over there. We've got Panama City, Florida, Shane. 19 degrees there by one of our listeners down there. So
that's a nice temperature.
Yeah, 19 degrees in Panama City. I've been to Panama City, Shane, believe it or not. I haven't been to the park, but I've been to Panama City, Florida.
Yeah?
Yeah, I spoke there once, believe it or not.
Florida up and down is just an amazing
It's an
place.
amazing state, yeah. Yeah, I almost went to Florida rather than going to California, but anyway.
Yeah, all the states along the Caribbean, Louisiana and Alabama and Texas and everything. They're all they're all amazing places. Wonderful, jungles and incredible wildlife. Just amazing stuff.
Yeah. Also from our text line, Merry Christmas. My last week was destroyed since we missed you both on the air last week. And, all of our replays are at KMMSAM.com. So if you can't get us one way, you can get us another. And those are commercial free. No news, no interruption. Just 3 straight hours of Tom and Shane. So there
for
you
a
go.
decade.
Yeah. And this, by the way, I should mention, Shane, is our 801st episode since we started recording. We've been on a lot longer than 800 episodes, but since we started recording these and putting them up on air, this is number 801.
You're a remarkable guy there.
What can I tell you? Let's take a phone call, see how remarkable we are. 406-522-TALK is the number, 406-522-8255. 888-203-5855. Caller, you're on with Tom and Shane. What's going on?
You guys are remarkable.
Amen to that.
Hey, I can't understand. I mean, how long do people suffer from Trump derangement syndrome before they get help or that the problem subsides? I mean, what's it been, 7 years, I think, since he announced for president?
Yeah.
And, I mean, they were trying to, the day he was elected, the newscasts on MSNBC and all these liberal, and the announcers are just about to break down in tears because he beat Hillary.
I know.
and the thing that's really, I mean, it's the whole half the country at least is brainwashed because that's all they've heard for all these years is, get Trump. And, we had Adam Shifty Schiff and Nancy Pelosi and all these people out to get him ever since the very beginning. And I got to ask you, when Trump ran for president, did he do it because he needed the money? Did he do it because he needed prestige or power? No. Trump loved America, and he wanted to give back and do what he thought he could do for the country. And yet, all we hear is, get him up there in Washington, D.C., where that's what they're trying to do is they're scared of him because he's not part of the bureaucrats that have been there for decades.
Mm-hmm.
And, rock the apple cart, and it doesn't matter if he was accomplishing a great deal. But
yeah.
So I guess to conclude on a Christmas Eve day, I have to say that most of these liberals need to try somehow to get over their Trump derangement syndrome and remove their heads that are firmly ensconced in their wazoos. So, adios, my friend.
All right. Thanks so much for the call. Merry Christmas to you. All right. Well.
Oh, how I wish I had a wazoo to blow on.
Yeah. Well, Republicans are struggling to navigate an increasingly complicated relationship with Trump, who has emerged from the midterms weaker than he was going in because he didn't get a lot of his folks elected as in the midterms. So some of them are looking at, well, has he weakened, or is he, we got a lot of time before the 2024 election. A lot of things can happen between now and then.
Well, a simple observation. Same people, same thoughts, same complaints, same disregard, same disrespect of a man 7 years ago. They're as phony as the Democrats. People call them, Republicans in name only, rhinos. And they're not. They're just anti-American as far as I'm concerned. The hubris that you see now, particularly with the Biden administration, is talking about America. Made in America. We're gonna rebuild America. I mean, this is everything that Biden is now moving towards, because everything he's been moving with is collapsing. Is Trump. And the irony of it, of course, is that people in Trump's own party, which he's the leader of, because that's the protocol. He was the last nominee and the last president. So until someone else is picked to replace him, he's in charge. So it's just one of these uncontested frustrations that the Republicans face themselves, and it's regrettable.
Yeah. Well, there are three types of people: pro-Trump people, anti-Trump people, and those who just want to move on. The difficult part is that we all have to exist in the same party. So there's got to be some deference for Trump, even if you're in the camp that wants to move on. So it depends on, what happens between now and then. I don't think he's going to get the nomination myself, but what do I know? I have a terrible record on predicting presidencies.
Well, this last election, I blew up with any of my ideas of what I thought the American people were thinking, and I wasn't going on polls. I was just looking at the numbers that people were faced to survive and have a managed lifestyle.
Yeah.
I figured that would be the first thing people cared about.
You actually thought people were going to vote in their own interests?
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Oh, man. Whew. How'd you get on the air?
Oh, no, that's what happened. The people that were so disgruntled because of what they're paying for gas and food, they just didn't vote. And the people that were voting in their own interest for more handouts, that's how they voted.
There you go.
When you have a country the size of yours and 5 states with 45,000 votes decide an election like this, it's astounding. I mean, there's no real records of elections, other than probably Britain, but going back more than 200 years, right? So it's a strange reality in modern times to see this happen, because we always talk about politics are local, and so are people that continually get reelected. So I just find it pretty strange that we can't come close to assuming we know what the American people are going to do.
Yeah. Well, there's a 4-year cure for Trump derangement syndrome. Elect him for president in 2024. Then in January of 2029, Trump derangement syndrome should be naturally terminated, and we'll all have herd immunity, Shane.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
That's very good. Yeah.
We'll have herd immunity from Trump. All you got to do is reelect him, endure 4 years. I mean, come on. We lived through 8 years of Obama. I mean, come on. That was a disaster. Jeez.
Well, particularly because it started with a disaster.
Well, yeah.
In 2009, of course, after what had happened with the big collapse in 2008.
Yeah.
And we knew it was coming. I mean, this wasn't a big surprise, but people still voted for him because he was the first American, African American running for president. And the American people, you and I basically surmised that was, we want to prove the world we're not racist.
That's it. That's all it is. That's why I believe his polling never went below like 40% or something like that. That people just didn't. People that were polled didn't want to seem racist. So
that's right.
All right, keep supporting Trump and keep losing. Brilliant idea. The Democrats are thrilled with you. Well, like I say, we'll see what happens in 2 years. Re-elect Trump, and he will claim it doesn't count. He needs another term like he did when he claimed the impeachment. He owes another couple years.
Well, regrettably, he sort of had it right, but he took the wrong path. You come to a fork in the road, and Trump decides, I'm going to take the path of, there was corruption and the voting was wrong, and I had more votes that were dumped or got destroyed. He should have taken the path of, they were all working against me, and it was conspiracy, like Russia, right?
Yeah.
Because the Twitter files that's what they've proven. So in your face right now is clearly that 2020 was a corrupt republic election of a president by your media. And that's everybody talks about this. They've said in the past, if this happens, it's a real problem and the demise of the republic. And then when it's happening, they deny it, and then you find out they did it, and no one wants to take responsibility or be found accountable. And it's wonderful. I'm glad that we can talk about it so we can save your republic.
There you go. All right. Bottom of the hour. We've got to get out of here for just a short period of time, but we will return. When we come back, we got to talk about a lot of stuff. GOP senators, tax audits, church-going belief, all kinds of things on our docket this morning. So we'll be back with a lot more right after this. Stay tuned. 27 minutes before the top of the hour. It is Saturday. It's December 24th, Christmas Day Eve. Christmas morning Eve, I should say. I guess 2022. Tom Egelhoff, your morning mayor. Shane Matobin, half man, half amazing in Kamloops, Canada. And let's see, Shane, from our text line, 478-8298. Merry Christmas, and may 2023 bring you a Trumpless New Year, where the GOP moves on and restores principles and wins again. Maybe he's not there. He may have stepped to the Louvre. Let's see. Trump will never admit he loses ever. Sorry, getting impeached does not give you an extra year of presidency. That's not how it works, and not how many of his, or not how many of this works anyway. Trump lost in 2020, midterms in 2020. He lost the presidency. When will people realize he's a loser? He may have a big fan base, but America is not into him. And I'd agree with that. I don't think they are into him, quite honestly. Obama is not black. He is a biracial male who identifies as black for his advantage. See, Amazon didn't make a profit for many years, but Amazon never lost $1 billion ripping off investors or $1 billion by going bankrupt. Well, companies do. A lot of companies do that. Let's see. The January 6th committee can't prosecute, but can provide evidence to the DOJ. How long will Trump supporters keep believing his lies? What if you label Trump derangement syndrome, are actually able to see through Trump lies and his followers are deranged? Well, what can I tell you? Fear of Trump is really sad to see by so many people that text the show. How fearful they are of Trump, Shane. I can't. It boggles. Yeah, the guy's gone, and probably is gone permanently.
But everyone's been conditioned. I mean, your media for 6 years now have made up stories. They've pursued made up stories. They themselves have written and won, their industry's, attention by making up stories, sitting around and saying, "Oh, we heard from reliable sources that they know they don't have to provide." Yeah. So of course people are going to have syndromes from it. I mean, when you're, that there's always that expression, you throw enough schiff against the wall and it sticks, right? Mm-hmm. So, that's what's created the syndrome, is the fact that so much schiff has been thrown against the wall that was false and untrue, that people's brains are fried from it. So, they have a syndrome. It's called, having believed non-truths. So the people that have this issue are basically in denial. They're denying all the falsehoods about Trump, excuse me. Yeah. And that's what it's been. It's been a string of 7 years of mistruth or lies about Trump that have led people to have no choice but to believe him, even though they know they're not true.
Yeah.
So there you go.
Well, I don't know.
Derangement.
Yeah. Well, I just think it's sad that here's a guy who's not in office, who didn't fare very well in the November elections. Several of the people he backed in key states and key districts lost, but yet they still fear him. And the only attack they can make on him is how he conducts his personal life. What about let's go all the way back to Kennedy sneaking Marilyn Monroe into the White House. Come on, Shane. And Clinton. I mean, there's a legendary womanizer if there ever was one. But we don't see everybody pulling out. Clinton's the hero of the Democrat Party.
One of the most amazing videotapes of an American president of all time is John F. Kennedy's birthday party at Madison Square Garden, sitting in the front row with his wife. Yeah. and Marilyn Monroe comes out in this incredible dark background. And she's in this black dress that glitters like starlight. And then stands there and sings happy birthday to the President of the United States with this very large microphone.
Yeah.
And everyone knows exactly what's going on here. You know, she's seducing the President of the United States in front of the American public, in front of an audience.
It's pretty
in
easy.
front of his wife.
Yeah, I know.
And, yeah.
I'm sure Jackie was thrilled with that. So
yeah, you got to see it to believe it. It's
But I don't know. You got Clinton, you got Paula Jones, you got Juanita Broaddrick, you got a list of too many others to name. Clinton paid off Juanita, or not Juanita, but Paula Jones about $800,000, something like that. And then Trump pays off Stormy Daniels, and oh my God, it's we're having heart attacks.
The Biden's sons, sharing the same women. I mean, it's just like it's just, and one wife a son that died.
Yeah,
sleeping with another brother. I mean, this is like Robert and John Kennedy going after Marilyn Monroe, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's these guys have a lot in common. These Democrats, they like generation after generation.
That's what we always say. Republicans just steal money.
That's right.
Democrats are immoral
they're
perverts.
all into it, baby. Of course, they want government out of the bedroom because they don't want to be seen doing what they're doing.
Yeah, that's probably right. So, well, and also, if you want to talk about crooks, how does Obama have a Manhattan apartment, a Chicago mansion, and a Hawaiian mansion?
Oh, and Nantucket.
And
Martha's Vineyard.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, he's there too. So
that's the biggest one of all.
How does he know which house to go to? I mean, how do you get there on $400,000 a year?
Oh, it's free because anywhere an ex-president go is paid for by the U.S. military in one of their private jets.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I know how he gets there, but how do you pay for the houses and the staff to operate it and keep it running?
Well, I mean, the FBI alone has 13 private jets. They got their own hangars and everything.
Well, I understand about the jets. I'm not talking about the jets. I'm talking about the houses.
I know, but that's how he gets to and fro.
Well, I know, but the staff's not Secret Service when he's not there, I don't think.
Mm-mm.
I don't think they got armed gardeners out there, mowing the grass. I don't know. Maybe they do. I don't know. But anyway, I mean, every one of these presidents is has questionable ethics, morality, and whatever. So, we don't elect choir boys to run the country, or choir girls, for that matter. So,
well, we'd like to think not.
Well, we like to think we do. We want them all to be,
They should know something, right?
Yeah. Well, we all want him to be Jimmy Carter, and we saw how that worked out.
Yeah, of course we did. Yeah.
Well, anyway, we got to move on to Zelensky, Shane, because House Republicans offered mixed reactions to Ukrainian President address to the joint meeting of Congress. And I can't believe people are giving this guy a standing ovation, Shane. I mean, this guy is as corrupt as they come.
Well, it's a sad reality we're faced with, and I just look, the golden age of the Ukraine. It's a great country, 42 million people, but the golden age of the Ukrainian people was the 10th and 11th centuries, 1,000 years ago. They were the largest and most powerful country, in Europe or that part of the world.
Yeah,
and so that's a long time ago. Number one. Number two, this is only the second time the leader of a country at war has spoken to a joint session of the U.S. Congress. And the last one was Winston Churchill.
Yeah.
World War II, folks.
And guess who was in the audience at the Congress where he spoke?
That's right.
Guess who?
Oh, I have no idea. Who are you going to surprise us with?
I'm going to surprise you with Nancy Pelosi's dad, who was a congressman at the time.
that is surprising.
So there you are.
Yeah, that's very surprising. Anyway, look, I'm not a warmonger. I believe in truth but verify. Reagan figured it all out, ended the Cold War, ended the nuclear race, saved the world, literally.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's regrettable that we find ourselves in this situation. And after the 20-year war that you fought in the Middle East because of some threat against President 42 by his son, I just find this one of these situations in time in history that we've seen too often, and we should try and figure out why is it a thing that continues to repeat itself. Well, we know why. But to stand in front of people demanding money and rebuild a country that you basically are responsible for destroying. Yeah. You're as big of a dictator or worse than the one you're accusing of attacking you. And he attacked you because of the fact that he figured you'd sort of like to go along with it. If half a loaf of bread to control as a dictator is better than none, right? So, if Putin figured, if I just take like half your country, you'll be okay with running the rest. So this is what's gone on for, thousands of years. So
yeah.
There you go.
Oh, well, I don't know. Mentioning Nancy, I guess you heard her last speech. Where she wished everybody happy Swanza.
Yes.
Yeah. So
that's Italian for wanting my husband to recover completely.
Yeah, I guess. I don't know. Well, Nancy's in her 80s. Joe's in their 80s. I'm on getting ready to be 80 in a few months. These people, their gaffes are allowing me to use my age as an excuse for,
I don't think so, Eagle Man. I don't know that you're capable of a gaffe, or I can't recall a gaffe you've ever made. So
well, I don't know. I'm reaching the pinnacle of my success, so I'm not sure if that works or not. But anyway, Nancy made a gaffe. Oh, the horrors of it! Oh my God! Oh, holy smokes! Yeah, we can't go there.
Yeah, she made a gaffe of agreeing to be Speaker of the House.
Yeah. So
there you go. That's not a little one.
Yeah. Inflation.
Anyway, look, the final thing to say about the Ukraine is that it's incredibly hard to imagine that the leaders that are freely elected of your country are standing there and thinking in their minds that the American people are in favor of this. Mm-hmm. That hundreds of billions of dollars, which is where you're headed, be provided to this type of a situation. And it's just the whole thing about warmongering is scary. So now you have the Ukrainians testing American military equipment, like North Korea's testing nuclear equipment for the the Chinese, right? I mean, why not?
There you go. From our text line, 478-8298, inflation down, gas prices down, unemployment 50-year low. Let's go, Brandon. Zelensky is corrupt because someone told you so, not because you know it to be true. I'm sorry, I looked it up. Look up corrupt governments of the world, and you'll see Ukraine near the top of the list.
Yeah, this is a guy who's banned all the political parties in his country. He shut down all the media and controls what's left.
Imprison priests and
priests now, and threatening people of faith,
Christians
Christians that gather at churches of being arrested if they talk about the war or Russia, and on and on. So the corruption isn't always about money. Most often is, but this is in your face corruption of the worst kind. So wake up, whoever wrote your text. That's regrettable, but
Mhm.
that's what you're faced with.
Yeah.
People that are dumbed down and they have no idea what they're commenting
Mhm.
about.
Well, that's for
Unless, of
sure.
course,
Yeah.
you don't believe everything on the internet. I mean,
True.
Yeah. My value of determining if something's real on the internet is how many places is it represented.
Yeah. More than
I
one.
mean, if it's just represented on the left media strain, like it was with Facebook and Twitter
Yeah.
and the networks, you could pretty well maybe guess it was made up or it probably wasn't true. But when you've got everything covering it, including people from the Ukraine, and only made possible because of Twitter and Elon Musk and his access that he's created because of Starlink, his satellites around the planet that allow people freely to get on the internet and communicate worldwide.
Absolutely. Yeah. So, yeah, most corrupt countries in the world, it's right up there, I'll tell you. Yeah.
Yeah, it is.
So, it isn't Sudan or Somalia or Syria, but it's up there.
No, I would say the second worst corrupt country outside of them, any major, the top 20 would be like Indonesia or several South American countries. There's still a couple of countries in the Caribbean where you actually have to put money in your passport to leave or to get in.
Yeah. So, yeah, it's they're right up there for sure.
Yeah.
So, Russia in there, of course, also Bangladesh, Iran. They're all alike, Shane. So
they seem to be, don't they?
Yeah.
And it's
well, as you say, anybody who jails the opposition, shuts down Christian worship, jails priests. I mean, come on. That's not just from Fox News. That's everywhere.
Yeah, and it's such a contradiction in terms of, I mean, when you look at the largest democracy in the world, India, and I mean 1.4 or 1.2 billion people, 800 million people are Hindu, and the Hindus are a religious group of pagans. They believe in 126 gods. So pagans have been around for like 3,000, 4,000, 5,000 years still.
Yeah.
And yet you then have China and Russia that are basically fascist governments, and the only two republics left in the world are the United States and India. It's a mad fascination, isn't it?
Yeah. You looked up a country and their oligarchy is corrupt. You assume Zelensky is also. Nice logic. Well, I assume Putin's corrupt too if the oligarchy of Russia's corrupt. I mean, come on. That's not a stretch.
People that send this stuff in, my question would be, what do you know about the Ukraine that we don't?
Yeah.
To say it's not corrupt.
I was going to say, I don't know how you could even remotely go there. You either support Ukraine or Putin. No, we don't. Choose wisely. Imagine if we didn't fight Hitler. Well, Russia's not trying to take over the entire world. I'll wait for him to invade China before I get concerned about Russia. The problem with this whole thing with Zelensky and everything else, and I think Putin is right, that a long-term war is going to wear out the countries in Europe that are providing aid. They're going to get tired of doing it. And so is the United States. I wasn't very happy with people demonstrating against me in Vietnam, taken to the streets with, their signs and stuff. But I don't see people taking the streets, no $45 billion for Ukraine.
Most racist presidents you've had ever in your country. You can't even compare them to the presidents of the Confederacy who are real racist. But, he didn't want to have anything to do with Hitler because he was watching Hitler kill Jews.
Yeah. No problem.
He didn't care about African American people.
Yeah.
One of the greatest athletes in the history of your country. Mm-hmm. Jesse Owens couldn't even come to the White House or get a text from him before World War II. And he didn't care about Japan's invasion of China because, gosh, they were just killing Chinese. And, he could just help out the side of China that he wanted, like the Brits against, Hitler and Europe. Yeah. And he knew, FDR knew, Tom, that once this happened, it would unleash an unbelievable growth in the United States. So you were in the middle of a depression when all this was going on, and he didn't really want that to end because he was in control. The government was in control with the depression.
Yeah.
And he knew that the minute war broke out, the U.S. would just, the industry would just explode and government would lose control. And, that's, look at the history, folks, and everything I said is true, and everything that happened as a result is true too.
Yeah. Every dollar of Ukraine military aid comes from USA-built weapons built by American jobs. Not a single U.S. soldier has died there. Well, all the stuff from Vietnam came from U.S. jobs too, but people still took to the streets. Thank you very much. So
yeah, and no one, everyone talks about the 58,000 men lost in Vietnam, and they talk about the people lost for 20 years fighting in the Middle East. But a lot of people don't talk about the mental and physical damage done of hundreds of thousands of men and women in both, Vietnam and the Middle East wars. So, yeah, it's let's talk about what we don't want to talk about.
Yeah, there you go. Well, we're coming up on the bottom of the hour, or top of the hour, or some part of the hour. Top of the hour, I think
Heading
it is.
To the last,
something like that.
Hour. Yeah, we got an hour.
Oh, geez. Well, that's true. So, boy, I don't know. We got a lot to talk about.
Yes.
Oh, well, the January 6th committee punts release to report on Thursday. They reported that on Thursday, and I guess release whatever they needed to the DOJ. So we'll see how that turns out. The CDC.
Wait, don't skip on that. I know we're running down, and we only got a couple of minutes. But did you think that
I'm teasing?
I know you're teasing.
Okay.
I just want to hit you up because it's a teaser on top of the tease. Will your Justice Department and Attorney General go after Trump? What's your bet? Yes or no?
Oh, I think they will. I think they'll try to.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah, I think they will. Why not?
I don't know. I guess I'm just going to have a commentary. I'm not going to suggest.
I mean, come on. Merrick Garland was beat up by Trump. He's not on the Supreme Court. He's got a bone to pick.
Bigger than a bone. He's got a dinosaur to pick.
Well, that's true. Yeah. Pretty big one.
Yeah, big one.
All right, that's going to wrap it up. We still have a full hour to go here. Church attendance and belief is down in the United States, and the CDC warns about a rise in severe strep. We're going to talk about that. And there's a nuclear fusion breakthrough. This might be the answer to global warming for all of us. So, and we'll have some Christmas trivia and some other stuff for you. And how much did the 12 days of Christmas cost? We got to talk about that when we come back. So it's Christmas Eve in Bozeman, Montana, December 24th, 2022. It's a beautiful Saturday, 40 degrees predicted for a high today. So we'll be right back to enjoy that with you right after this. 7 minutes after the hour of 10 a.m. It's Mountain Time. It's Saturday. It's December 24th, 2022, Christmas Eve. Merry Christmas, Shane. Happy to have you along with us. Thank you for being here, of course.
Merry Christmas, Thomas, and welcome home.
Yeah, wonderful to be here, especially when it's going to be warmer than a wind chill of 70 below or something like that we've had in some parts of Montana here over the past weekend. or past week, I guess I should say.
Yeah, it just tells you how remarkable this planet is. We've learned this year that 70% of all the fresh water on our planet is in the atmosphere.
Yeah.
In fact, there's an ocean of moisture water in the atmosphere as large as the oceans on land. The remarkable ability of the planet to survive 2 high tides twice a day with that massive amount of water shifting around in that weight, not causing massive volcanoes and earthquakes like every day. I mean, like there's so many natural sciences that you and I have talked about that just tell us what a blessing. Wow.
Yeah. Well, that's what they tell me.
Yeah, that's what they tell you.
Yeah. But what do I know? I have no clue.
Oh, you know it all because we talk about it.
Well, that's true. That's true. We do have some things going on. Well, a couple other things in this omnibus bill that I wanted to point out to you. We got the $3 million for a Michelle Obama walking trail in Georgia, and another $3 million to pay for a gay museum in New York City. And as I mentioned, AOC, Alexandria Cortez, voted against this bill. Shane, she didn't think it was a likable bill, or didn't like it particularly. So,
well, it's a strange reality in that who would have told her? I mean, she didn't make this decision on her own, right?
Well, I'm sure that somebody, yeah. 65.
I don't know what her real reason was. Maybe she was just upset with somebody that day.
Well, you got to have a walking path. I mean, there should be a Tom and Shane walking path somewhere here, so maybe somebody can get that going.
Yeah, and there could be like the old-fashioned little speakers, like from a drive-in.
Yeah, the drive-in.
Or shows, so you can walk. You can
listen to the shows as you walk through the.
Exactly. Yeah. I think that's a great idea.
That's a good idea. I like that. Along with our trading cards, of course, we want to have trading cards. So,
well, yeah, we got to start our own Ponzi plan here for wealth. What better to use than trading cards? I mean,
well, we're spending $65 million to restore Pacific salmon populations, as if the fish didn't know how to do that on their own. But what can I tell you? $3 million to implement a pollinator-free practices on highways. So we want more bee-friendly highways. So we're going to plant stuff along the highways so the bees will, take that over for us. So happy to have that going for us. So
have them buzzing around the ladybird flowers.
That's what.
Instead of getting whacked by windshields.
Yeah, that's definitely what we need for sure. I'm excited about this. I tell you, I can't wait to go down can't wait to drive down the highway and watch the bees bounce off my windshield. So. Yeah,
especially, the big ones, right?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
They drain your windshield cleaner fluid so fast, and then you have to stop and put more in. And
yeah. Well, there you are. Yeah. All right, from our text line, 478-8298, Tom and Shane, Merry Christmas. God bless us, everyone. Peace through strength. Sorry other textures are so miserable and wrong. So are we. But we feel that we need to point them out because, unhappy people, we want them to be happy. So
that's right. It's that time of year.
That's where we are. Okay. Mitch McConnell blocked Merrick Garland and pushed Amy Barrett. Now Republicans hate Mitch. Well, Republicans hated Mitch long before that. Gotta say, where have you been?
That's right.
I gotta say, he's I don't know. Attila the Hun probably would rank higher in the polls than Mitch at the moment.
Well, yeah. I mean, he's a mystic. His wife is Chinese, and her family owns one of the largest shipping companies in China. So obviously part of the fascist government. And she's been Secretary of Transportation twice under 2 different presidents. So what?
Yeah.
How can you blame Mitch? I mean, he's in for the whole game.
There you are. From our text line, 478-8298, when the populace is bombarded daily in the 99% liberal-biased mainstream media, They can easily become brainwashed. The debunked Russian hoax initiated by Hillary Clinton and perpetuated by the decadent media and Democrats is only one example of many that were used to attack President Trump. In my opinion, that was the biggest political scandal in American history. FBI was complicit, and the entire affair was to remove a duly elected president, and not only one of the conspirators has ever been charged, whether it would be Hillary, James Comey of the FBI, or many, many others. So that's right. Where do the charges start falling?
Well, not anywhere near them.
Yeah, well, that's true. Yeah.
I mean, of course, you're referring to a destroyer's depth charges being, falling.
Yeah.
So, because if a depth charge was dropped on any of them, it would go off and
Yeah, right.
they would sink. Okay, this would definitely result in something sinking.
That would be it. All right. Let's see if we can take a phone call. 406-522-TALK is the number. 406-522-8255. Caller, you're on with Tom and Shane. What's going on?
Well, first of all, I wanted to say Merry Christmas to both of you.
Well, thank you.
And thanks for
And a
your
Merry
service.
Christmas to you.
I guess I have my theory that I wish Trump was president right now. We wouldn't have open borders. We wouldn't be in the situation with Ukraine. We would have more solid power grid. We wouldn't be practically out of our own fuel resources. Everything, in my estimation, would be better if President Trump was in power. I think there was lots of problems, maybe, but because he was a businessman and not a politician, gave him a lot of good insight on what our country really needed. Mm-hmm. And that's my opinion. And I kind of think that we're in cahoots with Ukraine because of the Biden administration and their workings with Ukraine and Russia and China and everything.
Well, a lot of people believe that Biden is being blackmailed, so to speak, for some of the stuff Hunter did with Ukraine and Russia and China and whatever.
Yeah, and so we're the ones that are getting stuck with his family's bad actions.
Yeah. Well, yeah, a lot of folks are in your camp, I believe.
Well, I lived a long life and paid attention, and it's pretty much the writing on the wall as far as I see it.
Yeah. Well, it would, it's kind of unusual with him having that prosecutor fired in Ukraine, holding up $1 billion if he doesn't get the guy fired. So, there's a lot of suspicion there. And if there isn't a red flag, there's certainly a pink one.
Boy, you got that right. Well, really. I mean, if you pay attention, well, you can flip back on channels. I don't get them all, but my goodness, this January 6th thing. I wish we had the money that they have spent on Trump and all the crap that they've tried to get a hold of him on. I just, it's disgusting. Anyway.
Yeah.
For your program.
Well, thanks so much. Thanks for the call, and Merry Christmas to you.
Thank you.
All right. Any thoughts, Shane?
I'm just glad we're here. So, wonderful woman who's probably got an incredible family and grandchildren and potentially great-grandchildren and, of course, her own children. And hopefully they're together and celebrating this Christmas, can call up and say, this really is disturbing to me. And it's a place to vent, and that's a great thing. That's what live radio is about.
Yeah, there we go.
People getting it, as they say, off their chest.
From our text line, 478-8298. Nope, McConnell hate comes because he criticizes dear leader. Well, I don't know that he and Trump are pals.
No, they're
not.
and like
anywhere on there.
It's like W. Bush appointed his wife, Secretary of Transportation to get his support. And Trump appointed her Secretary of Transportation to get his support. And it's all
Yeah.
it's all a charade, but
Yeah.
it's a donkey show, right?
Amen.
A circus.
It is. Well, one of the things that came out of this omnibus bill, federal spending is going to get some money for Yellowstone. The spending package passed by Congress this week includes hundreds of millions in disaster relief funding for Yellowstone National Park. We had, as you remember, we had flooding in the spring, and many of the roads were washed out. Gardner was closed for a while. A lot of damage was done to highways down there. So the appropriations package, they're going to send. They passed the $1 trillion bill, and $916 million of that is for flood disaster relief funding for the bill, and that's going to come to the Paradise Valley area to offset the costs of rebuilding all those highways and all of that stuff. So, so I guess there is a silver lining in here somewhere, Shane, for the fact that we're going to have that as well.
Well,
So-
it's really remarkable because when you look at the infrastructure of Yellowstone or Jellystone Park
Yeah.
and Glacier Park and the Going to the Sun Highway in particular in Glacier Park, these were all projects that FDR had during the Depression, and we're like talking 75, 80 years ago. I mean, the narrow little Going to the Sun Highway in Glacier Park is so incredible because it's like 7 or 8 feet wide, right? And
Yeah.
you got to get, and there's like a 2-foot wall, which was originally 5, but they've added so much, tar and road to it that if you go off the side, you drop like 5,000 feet.
Yeah.
Anyway, the point is it's terrific because I've been to dozens of national parks in your country, and they're just so incredible. And what a place. There's so much for Americans to see in America. They don't need to go anywhere.
No, that's for sure. Well, the House on Thursday passed a bill that would require annual audits of the president's tax returns, codifying IRS policy after a congressional committee revealed that the agency did not audit former President Trump during 2 years that he was in office, and they're supposed to have this Presidential Tax Filing and Audit Transparency Act that was passed. So they're going to make sure that all future presidents in office will be audited each year to make sure their taxes are on the up and up, Shane. So
sure,
yeah,
that's
right.
I mean, it's like this isn't like something that should have already been the case. Like it's yeah, okay. Nice for you guys to catch up to the 21st century.
Yeah. From our text line 4788298, what happened to your trip that you guys are going to take a bus tour to Yellowstone last summer? Did you do it or not? I don't remember. No, we didn't get that done because of the Canadian border was shut down and Shane couldn't come down. So.
And I couldn't get a passport.
Yeah, he couldn't get a passport because it's a landlocked country, of course.
Yeah, that's right.
So.
Well, no, my passport expired on my birthday this year, so I didn't figure that out until April or May or February, March. So I filed, I sent it in April, and I didn't get it back till November.
Yeah. So, well, maybe next year,
Well, I've got a passport good for 5 years. So
yeah.
There you go.
Well, it costs about $3,000 to rent a bus to go down there. So maybe we'll have to have a car tour of some kind. Maybe we'll, maybe we can all drive down there this spring or summer if we can.
I think we should.
If we can get Shane down here, I think it'd be fun to go to take me to Yellowstone Park for the first time in the 30 years I've lived here. Not been to the park, so I want to go down. I want to pet the bison and do all the stuff the tourists do.
That's right. You want to go, hot potting, right?
Yeah.
You got to go hot potting.
That'll be it. my gosh, I don't know. So, but yeah, I think we'd like to do that. We had a night for Tom and Shane once, and a couple of years ago, and
Fabulous.
had a
It was
great
fabulous.
turnout for that. We're very appreciative to everybody that listened to us, of course, and it's it's a labor of love for us, that we're not getting paid to be here, so we're happy to be here, so that Bozeman has got some local radio at least going on, local talk radio, that people can talk about the things that are important to them.
That's right. We had a raffle. Tom had to go buy, of course, raffle tickets, and he bought 1,000 of them.
Yeah, we still got raffle tickets.
Yeah. So anyway, we had like 200 people there, so we gave them all raffle tickets, and we gave a bunch of raffle prizes away. It was very cool, man.
Yeah, we had a fun time.
We got to meet so many cool people, and we got a couple of gifts. Remember, we got our knives, our Swiss Army knives.
Yeah, we got our Swiss Army knives from Jerry. So nice.
From the Jer Bear.
Yeah, so. All right. From our text line, 4788298, Russia wouldn't have invaded Ukraine if Trump were president. Seriously? Remember Russia? Putin helped Trump get elected twice. So why is Putin afraid?
I mean, why did someone send that in?
Yeah.
Russia had already invaded Ukraine. They did it in 2012.
Yeah.
Will you people please wake up? I mean, if you can't remember the last 10 years, clearly you don't know any history. I mean, seriously. I mean, if in your lifetime you've lived history you can't remember, this is like insomnia. Come on, Thomas.
Yeah, well, I don't know. Remember, we're not sending money to Ukraine. We're sending USA-made defensive weapons made in the U.S. and with U.S. jobs. Unlike other wars, we have not sent a single soldier. That's true. Let's see. I remember when Russia was our enemy. Reagan is rolling in his grave. So I don't know what blackmail Putin has over Trump, but it's clear as a bell Trump is under Putin's thumb. So what? He's not president.
No, wait. What's clear is Putin has Biden under his thumb, because Biden
clearly,
and so do the same with China because of his son, and Putin's sitting there going, ha ha ha, boy. Talk about Twitter files. Where do you see the Putin files?
I was going to say. Yeah. Investigate Hunter. Throw him in jail if he's guilty, but remind me how Hunter got $2 billion from the Arabs while seated in his office next to the Oval Office. So,
and the $1 billion from China, and the millions from Russia, and the tens of millions from the Ukraine. No wonder all this is happening, and all this money is being paid out under the guise that the American people want it now.
Yeah.
And under the guise that Biden doesn't want anyone, telling on him.
Yeah. Well, in other news, church membership, church attendance, and belief in God all declined during the pandemic years, as survey data suggests, accelerating decades-long trends away from organized worship. So, I don't know. Church attendance plummeted by 45% during the pandemic. Grocery stores were open, strip clubs were open, but heaven forbid churches would be open.
Yeah, well, it's not lots of faces. It's not, it's the number. It's not about the numbers being down. It's about the loss of faith.
Yeah,
you have to have faith to believe in anything.
Yeah.
Do you love your mom and dad? Yes. Prove it.
Yeah.
You go on faith that you love your mom and dad.
Mm-hmm.
That's a simple example, and it's a personal one.
Yeah.
As is in having a faith in religion or a belief in some type of religion. But the serious thing of COVID has been the collapse of faith in government. And, government is created by man. And when man is not ruled by morals but laws, everything's acceptable. So there you go. We've talked about this, and that's my position. Everything's now acceptable.
Yeah,
because
it seems to be.
This is like Rome. It's like Egypt. It's like It's like the French, you know, in the 18th century, in the late, you know, during or after the American Revolution, and the French had theirs, and Robespierre and the Marquis de Sade, you know, came along, and men were dressing like women with makeup and lipstick and tights and wigs and, you know, everything. Yeah, it's not like this hasn't happened before again.
The whole 9 yards, yeah.
You got it, baby.
Well, at least 1/5 of Americans today embrace no religion at all. Researchers call them nuns, N-O-N-E-S, not N-U-N-S, not the Catholic version, I guess.
Isn't that
maybe
a
it's
pronoun?
nones.
Isn't that identifying someone with a pronoun?
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, they got their own pronoun now. So, a similar share tell pollsters they do not believe in God, an all-time high. So. That's sad, Shane. It really is sad to see, particularly for the younger people coming up, you know.
But the confusion, it isn't belief, it's faith.
Yeah. No, it's true.
You make a decision whether you have faith in God or not.
Yeah.
That's it. This isn't complicated.
Yeah.
People make it complicated. It's not.
Well, for those, you know, I've always said, for those who don't believe, no proof is possible. For those who do believe, no proof is necessary. So we'll do that when we come back. So, hey, we still got some Christmas trivia for you and some other things to talk about. So don't go away. We're having a happy Christmas Eve here at 10:29 in the morning, Saturday, December 22nd, 2022. Shane and I will return right after the news at the bottom of the hour. Don't go away. 27 minutes before the top of the hour. It is Saturday. It's December 24th, 2022. Believe it or not, already. That's where we find ourselves. Did I lose you on Skype, Shane?
Yes, I have.
Yeah, I think so.
Here we go.
All right, we got
trying to do my best.
All right, we got you on the phone, so I guess that counts for something.
Well, I can hear you now. So
okay,
it's
good. Well, I put you up on the phone, so that's where you are. So, all right. Well, I got you can see me, I guess, but I can't see you. So.
Yeah, my camera won't turn on. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, your kids put tape over it. You know, that's a problem.
Someone did.
Okay. So, well, at least I can hear you on Skype. So. All right. Well, Arizona will have to take down makeshift wall of shipping containers at the Mexico border, settling a lawsuit and political tussle with the U.S. government over trespassing on federal lands. So Arizona decided that the gaps in the wall, they would just fill them with shipping containers. Yeah, so that's what they did. They put up a couple of, it looks like a lot of them from what I saw on the news just now. Excuse me. But,
great idea.
Yeah.
With sand.
Yeah, the Biden administration, the Republican governor, entered into an agreement that Arizona will cease installing the containers in the Coronado National Forest, the only national forest along the border, according to court documents. So they use the National Forest guys to call it government property. So the agreement also calls for Arizona to remove the containers that were already installed in the remote San Rafael Valley in southeastern Cochise County and in the Yuma area, where the U.S. Bureau of Reclamation has an easement on the Cocopath Indian tribes reservations. All this must be done by January 4th without damaging any natural resources. State agencies will have to consult with U.S. Forest Service representatives to get that done. So they wanted the government to fill the remaining gaps in the permanent border wall. And, of course, Biden put the kibosh on that. So the governor said, well, hey, I got to do something. So he did. And now he's got to take his toys and go home.
That's right.
So what a mess down there. I mean, jeez.
Well,
I don't know.
I guess it's not a list of pro and cons. It's just a big list of messes. And so you got to go down and list all the messes because there's so many.
Well, that would be true, yeah. Let's see. If Biden is guilty of Hunter's crimes, throw him in jail too. That's patriotism. Trump supporters refuse to ever hold him accountable. That's the difference between Democrats and the Trump cult. Well, as soon as Trump's charged with something, we'll be happy to report it.
That's right. It's again, here we go. You know, that people are just, where are you? When
Hearsay has
held
no...
accountable for what?
Yeah.
I mean, this guy's the most in his lifetime, he's the most investigated. I mean, every president of the United States has dozens of books written about him, right? And, you know, he's like most of those guys that even after having biographies written about them, nobody really discovered anything, right? But same here. Everybody thinks Trump is guilty of something, but no one's discovered what it is yet.
All right. From our text line, 478-8298, thanks for keeping 1450 alive. I've been listening to 1450 since it was KXXL. Merry Christmas. Wow. So thank you for that. Yeah, that was even before my time. Happy Christmas, Tom. May 2023 be a year without Trump losing more elections. May our party restore its principles and start winning elections by supporting normal candidates. Well, you have to define normal candidates for me, I guess.
Or abnormal. Let's start with abnormal.
I was going to say, we got enough abnormal candidates. We can go down the list of those pretty easily. So,
yeah, that would be.
Yeah.
As they say growing up, that's a cinch.
Yeah. When people stop believing in God, they don't then believe in nothing. They believe in.
And everything becomes acceptable.
That's right. Everything becomes okay. That being the sad part of the whole deal. So,
yeah.
Well, the other thing, Shane, we got to talk about. We've got this nuclear fission breakthrough coming up here. Earlier this week, the Lawrence Livermore National Laboratory announced a monumentous breakthrough in harnessing controlled nuclear fission. They claimed that they get more energy out than is put in to this thing. So this may be the answer to global warming, but probably not in the remaining years you and I have, Shane, but maybe some of our younger people might be around to see that dream come up in the 2050 or beyond.
Well, I mean, this started back with the great one, right? And, EM square. I mean, when Einstein started this and put it together, there were two observations, of course, that he was dealing with in this science theory that became fact. That's fusion and fission. Fusion is a reaction where two or more atomic nuclei are combined. Mm-hmm. And so it becomes basically subatomic particles, neutrons or protons colliding. And, the great example of that is a main sequence star, which is what we have. Our sun is one. And it's hydrogen and helium. And its core, it's incredible. It fuses 500 million metric tons of hydrogen each second to produce all the heat, radiation, and light that we see and will for several more billion years. Now, fission is where you take two atomic particle, or you take an single atomic particle, and you split it apart. Yeah. And both create an amazing amount of electricity, power, and heat. And those, but they're not controllable, so they end up being atomic explosions. Of course, the fusion one isn't as powerful as the fission one, where you split it. We learned that 75 years ago.
Yeah.
So it's a great thing today. It does exist already. Star Scientific already does this. They have for 20 years. Governments won't accept it. They put it under a qualified nuclear explosion. And so just to give you an idea of how important this is, there's 8 planets in our system. 4 of them are rock planets, the first 4. You've got Mercury, Venus, the Earth, and Mars. They're all rock planets. They were created throughout the history. The other 4, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, and Neptune, they're all gas giants. Now, real quick, just because this is important, Jupiter is 89% hydrogen, 10% helium, and Saturn is 96% hydrogen and 3% helium. and they're gas giants because there's no hard rock core to them. It's frozen. It's frozen hydrogen and helium on both planets, which has produced this gigantic atmosphere that is basically an atmosphere of thawed gases at their core. And all four planets are remarkable. We didn't learn about this until the 60s and 70s. But so we sit here and we look at this in the science, and it's a wonderful thing if they can adapt it where they put less energy in to create more. Great. We already have lightning if we could harness that.
Yeah. All right. Sounds good to me. Well, this may be the answer, Shane, as they can, get this going somewhere along the line. Hopefully, it may or may not show up. So, I guess we'll find out as we as this goes through. As I say, they don't expect it to be commercial for at least another 30 years or so. The time they refine it, and if you remember, the first computers were the size of small rooms. So
yeah, the problem is they can create the fusion reaction, but they can't contain it, and and that's the issue. So
yeah, that would be.
Maybe they'll find some way of containing it.
Yeah, that would be the case, of course. So that's where we are. So fusion. Up and away, as they say. So let's see if we can take a phone call. 406-522-TALK is the number. 406-522-8255. Caller, you're on with Tom and Shane. What's up?
Merry Christmas, boys. Right on, John here.
Hey, John.
Hey. I'm really big into energy and everything. And there's no way, even in my lifetime, they had that it's even going to work. It's just a big spending spree. They got like 0.00005 seconds when they put in like a million watts of laser. Yeah. It's just not there. Plasma is a lot more. It's getting closer, so on and so forth, like that. But I have technology that could easily power just about everywhere. So I'm getting close to it, but I wanted to mention last week when I was up at Cannon Ferry Lake and I was trying to listen to you, I couldn't get you on the radio and I couldn't get you through the app. So that's why I mentioned that this morning.
Yeah, we had problems with the app last week, and I had thought about a Christmas parade today, but unfortunately, with all the problems we've been having, I didn't want to take the chance of it, not going off as planned. So, but maybe St. Patrick's Day will have everything straightened out.
Or New Year's. Next New Year's.
No, New Year's is too close.
Well, we don't need you out there as a flasher there, Tom.
Yeah, I know.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah.
But I got something important. Is that in regards to what a little bit what Clint said a little bit this morning?
Yeah.
Is that they have these compliance officers that are going around to all of the motorhomes and everything.
Yeah.
That are out there and shutting them down. And threatening them with $500 a day plus, so the homeless are becoming homeless again.
Yeah,
it's just unbelievable. And so I got to the 27th to move out of the specific location that I'm at right at this moment.
Yeah,
and it's unconscionable. I'm not hurting nothing. I'm not doing anything that would hurt anything, and yet these people are coming at full guns. So what I'm thinking about doing is, I know that there's some pro bono lawyers or something in and around the area, and I'm considering on doing especially, but like I don't know about in Bozeman area, but I know Park County doing a class action lawsuit for $100 million. What is it going to take for them to wake up? Because we don't have, there's no housing anywhere, and they're not giving anybody any option. It's get out or nothing. That's it. And otherwise, we're going to charge you $500 a day. And it's just, I'm living it right now at which I got to get on out before the 27th, but at a dang cemetery. Who wants to live at a cemetery? Well, I look at it this way: they don't talk back to me, so that's all right.
That's true. Yeah, but they do vote.
But it's a place to live. I got power, and yet these people are running me through the dang mill and threatening me with $500 a day. So,
well, in Bozeman, as I understand it, in Bozeman, you're allowed to park on the city street. It's not illegal to park on the street. If you block sidewalks or have stuff outside the camper, then they can cite you for things like that, for littering or obstruction or whatever. But as far as I know in Bozeman, if you're just sitting in your camper on a public street, there's not much the police can do as long as you're not committing a crime or harassing or loud music or something else that's going to offend neighbors.
But I'm on private property.
Yeah. Well, you can't be on private property. They can remove you from there. That's for sure.
Well, yeah, and that's just uncomfortable.
Well, get on public property and you'll be fine.
Well, yeah. I have a meeting with couples after lunch and stuff like this. But I really hope that I can find a person or one of these pro bono lawyers, because they really need to be spanked for this. Because what else do people have? They're not setting up any places that they could physically go to, and homelessness is going like Jack the Bear. Yeah. So and it's like the 27th. It's like Merry damn Christmas to you, John.
Yeah, there you go.
It sucks. So if there's any pro bono lawyers that want to take this on up, they can get a hold of me at 223-5262.
All right.
I'd love to talk to you.
All right, man. Thank you
very much. Merry Christmas. Happy New Year.
Merry Christmas to you. All right. All right, we don't have a whole lot of time left, but I wanted to put something in here, Shane. It is Merry Christmas, but we've also got all of our Jewish friends out there who've been on the air with us, Rabbi Chaim, Rabbi Ed Staffman, as well as Jennifer Bordy and others. Harry Kirschenbaum, my right-hand guy on Open Range way back when. So I want to do a little something for them, Shane. So here we go.
There's a lot of Christmas songs out there, and not too many Hanukkah songs. So wrote a song for all those nice little Jewish kids who don't get to hear any Hanukkah songs. Here we go. Put on your yarmulke, here comes Hanukkah. So much Hanukkah to celebrate Hanukkah. Hanukkah is the festival of lights. Instead of one day of presents, we have 8 crazy nights. When you feel like the only kid in town without a Christmas tree, here's a list of people who are Jewish, just like you and me. David Lee Roth lights the menorah. So do James Caan, Kirk Douglas, and the late Dinah Shora. Guess who eats together at the Carnegie Deli? Bowser from Sha-Na-Na and Arthur Fonzarelli. Paul Newman's half Jewish, Goldie Hawn's half too. Put them together, what a fine-looking Jew. You don't need deck the halls or Jingle Bell Rock, 'cause you can spin a dreidel with Captain Kirk and Mr. Spock, both Jewish. Put on your yarmulke, it's time for Hanukkah. The owner of the Seattle Supersonicas celebrates Hanukkah. O.J. Simpson, not a Jew. But guess who is? Hall of Famer Rod Carew. He converted. We got Ann Landers and her sister, dear Abby. Harrison Ford's a quarter Jewish, not too shabby. Some people think that Ebenezer Scrooge is. Well, he's not, but guess who is? All three Stooges. So many Jews are in showbiz. Tom Cruise isn't, but I heard his agent is. Tell your friend Veronica, it's time to celebrate Hanukkah. Oh, get a harmonica on this lovely, lovely Hanukkah. So drink your gin and tonica and smoke your marijuana. If you really wanna have a happy, 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 happy Hanukkah. Happy Hanukkah.
All right. There's Adam Sandler, Shane, for you.
That's good. I thought I recognized the voice.
Yeah. Adam Sandler, the Hanukkah song. So I thought we'd do a little celebration because Hanukkah's, I believe, going on right now. I think that ends either today or tomorrow. I'm not sure which, but anyway, I don't know. So
on the Sabbath yesterday. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Yesterday. I think that's right. So. Well, that's okay. From our text line, 4788298, the reason for the season is Jesus Christ. Let's get our priorities straight and worship him and not men in that politicians and expect men to sell problems with God is the only solution. So, yeah, God is the only solution, folks. Let's see. Most of the dead voters in 2020 were voting for Trump, yet Republicans claim Democrats cheat. I don't believe a whole lot of Democrats in Chicago were voting for Trump, Shane.
No, apparently not.
I don't think so. I think that was another election. So, all right. Well, let's see. What else we got to talk about here? Because, we talked about the fusion, of course, and so maybe some Christmas facts. 3 billion Christmas cards are sent each year in the U.S., Shane. I don't know if that's come down or not. I don't get a lot of cards, and I don't know if I'm sure there are probably a lot of people who still send out Christmas cards to friends and family, but I don't know. Do you send cards, don't you?
I do.
Yeah, I thought
I
you.
think cards are wonderful. I think people like me. I enjoy going to the mail and receiving a written card or letter from anyone. I mean, people don't do it anymore. It's sad. It's but I do. Yeah. I still write letters and I still send cards.
All right. Well, it takes about 15 years to grow the average Christmas tree, and they started being sold in the U.S. in 1850. People started putting trees up, and Teddy Roosevelt was a environmentalist and didn't want a tree in the White House, Shane.
Of course not. Why would he?
Yeah. Get that thing out of here. That was 1901.
That's right. He was the first green guy.
Yeah. Well,
he created your national park system.
Yeah. So what's the big deal about cutting down a tree now and then? So, Oh, geez. Well, approximately 35 million living Christmas trees are sold each year, and more than 45 million are planted. So there you go.
Well, if you're a real environmentalist and you go out and actually cut a Christmas tree down or get a Christmas tree with your family, ideally you find one and cut the top off, and then it continues to grow. So
okay. So, all right. Well, the other thing that comes up every year is how much does the song The 12 Days of Christmas cost?
A lot.
And since I got to have Shane say goodbye, I'll do it real quickly. $45,523.27. So say goodbye, Shane.
Okay. Be happy, be safe, everyone. Merry Christmas. We're so grateful for your following and listening to us all year long. Look forward to 2023. And next Saturday, Happy New Year. But Merry Christmas now. Live in the moment. Live to work. And everybody, just enjoy this moment. It's so special and so wonderful. We're so gifted to live in the places that we do. So come home with a smile on your face with that Christmas gift. And everybody, Happy Hanukkah too, because we're all in this together.
Yeah.
Thank you, Thomas. You're a great friend.
All right, man. Thanks a lot. All right, as Nancy would say, Happy Swanza as well. I am out of here. Merry Christmas.